I think it's great personally that I have some time to sit with the chapter before analyzing it. I think recently the scans have been really on point, so there haven't been any major differences. It gives me some time to just think about things, talk to other people, and probably look at it in a better way than when I initially review the chapters. The analysis videos, they're pretty therapeutic because then I feel like I've gotten over just the initial shock or hype from the chapters, and I can sit with it again, like I said, and just analyze it in a way that's, I think, fair, not only to you guys, but to the series as well. So first, with Kaido and Black Maria, we know the Tobi Roppo, they were supposed to be looking for Yamato. It seemed to hint that the person who probably will find Yamato, or the person that has more, they want to find Yamato more than anything, is who's who, and maybe Sasaki. It seems like Ulti and Peipei is like they're just having a good time, and Ulti, she just enjoys spending time with her brother. For Black Maria, she's not even going. She's staying right where Kaido is. Now, she is the queen of the pleasure quarter. She's over that area in Onigashima. Pleasuring is maybe an extreme here, but her staying next to Kaido and wanting to be close to Kaido, maybe her only role until she gets a fight at some point. But I think people have thrown around the possibility of Black Maria being either a member of CP0 or a traitor in some way. I mean, they're tying her to Stissy, and I guess the parallels are there. I'm not ready to jump to that yet, but I think it's a really cool observation that people found out. People are talking about Kanjuro and saying if Orochi meant that he was going to kill Kanjuro after he received all the information from him. I think what Orochi meant, and it's pretty clear in the viz, that he is going to be a part of his organization after, like his acting with Odin and the Scabbards, that's over, and he can now be his true self with Orochi. Kaido saying he could have killed him without realizing it is actually hilarious because he really could have. But I think the interesting thing here, and what people really cared about, was what Kanjuro said to Orochi and Kaido after he got there. Well, first off, I had an issue with Kanjuro getting through everyone and getting to Orochi and Kaido that easily, but people mentioned that Kaido's security, they shouldn't care about that. I mean, yes, Kaido is security. He is the Yonko at the end of the day. No one is beating him on Onigashima. Well, 1v1, I'm assuming that's how I feel right now about it. But regardless, the point of having all these people around you and having security and having underlings is to prevent people just rolling up on you like this, right? I don't care if I'm a mob boss that's the strongest in an organization. I expect my organization to operate the way I plan for it to operate. So Kanjuro getting there, and honestly, if we go a bit further, how dismissive they are of Luffy and Kid and Zoro and Killer, it goes back to just people underestimating Luffy and everybody that's with Luffy, but also it goes back to overconfidence on Kaido's part because the two main people of the alliance, Luffy and Kid, who we assume are the strongest, I mean, we're not talking about Marco right now, he demolished them. So for him, he's like, if that's the big threat, if that's the huge threat, we have no reason to worry. In Fukurokuji, he was kind of correct, whereas Kaido's concentrated power, it's all there in Onigashima. And it doesn't matter if Luffy has an entire army with him, nothing is going to happen to Kaido. It's not worth worrying about. Based on what we know about the alliance and the strength of Kaido and Big Mom and his underlings and her underlings, he's right. But one, Big Mom's underlings aren't going to make it to Onigashima. Like, they can't make it up a goddamn waterfall. And for Kaido's underlings, they all have ulterior motives. For the main one being X-Drake, of course, who's who, he wants to fight Queen. And saying all is an exaggeration because not all, but they all have things they want to accomplish there, so things are gonna get swept under the rug or things are gonna get overlooked. So man, this is just gonna be chaos once the war actually starts because they're dismissing everything. They are heavily underestimating the alliance right now, not knowing about what Law is doing, Kinemon, Inu, Neko, Marco showing up. We don't know if other Whitebeard pirates are showing up. Of course, Izo is there as well. They are underestimating the hell out of this alliance. If you have more numbers and more powerful fighters, you win. But to circumvent that, strategy comes into play here, and Oda's using that, right? With the pincer attack he has going on with the war. So I expect for Kaido's forces to whittle down pretty quickly because they're gonna get caught off guard. Another major thing that people brought up was Kanjuro talking to Orochi about Denjiro. After rereading, it seems like with Kanjuro being as thorough as he's been, like he's been very competent for Orochi. So for him, I think he didn't get a chance to mention Denjiro because he got cut off by Fukurokuju. But I 100% think Kanjuro is going to tell Orochi about Denjiro. And for the people that had mentioned that if he would have told him, he could have prevented what happened to Sasaki, but it seems like what's going on with Kanjuro and Orochi right now, it's happening at the same time with Sasaki and Denjiro. So even if he told them, it wouldn't have prevented that. I mentioned before the mindset of Orochi, and I really like it because he's the only one that's taking everything seriously, or he's trying to take things seriously. Of course, he's backed by Kaido, so it's not much he can do if Kaido's not taking it seriously, but for him him taking Momonosuke and trying to crucify him or to execute him, that makes a lot of sense. Like, you're killing the quote-unquote leader of this alliance, and he's not resting until he sees the Scabbards' bodies and he sees them dead, which Orochi from the beginning of Wano has had that mindset, and to be honest, it should be appreciated and respected. Kaido's dialogue is a bit different here, where he talks about Momonosuke. It seemed like in the other translation that Kaido was expecting Momonosuke to be even bigger or grow a bit, I suppose. In this instance, it seems like Kaido is saying that Momonosuke looks as pathetic as he did when Kaido was beating on him, or when Kaido was about to kill him. I think Kaido's reaction was a bit weird because I'm not sure how young Yamato is, but not saying he cares about Momonosuke, but I think he has expectations for Momonosuke because of his father. Honestly, I wish Kaido and Oden had been fleshed out a bit more to somehow establish more respect outside of Oden just, you know, surviving the boiling oil, meaning through their battle. When they actually fought, we should have gotten some more dialogue back and forth between them, because then the respect would feel a bit more real to me. Like, not saying it's not real, but I think it could have been established in a much deeper way. Something cool, and it wasn't a major thing at all, but the dialogue between Inu and Neku. It was a quick dialogue on the Den and Mushi, and they're strategizing as to what they're going to do, mainly Law. And Kawamatsu's reaction as well as Kiku's. When you think about it, they haven't seen Nekomamushi in a very, very long time, right? So for them, hearing Nekomamushi's voice and just trying to imagine how much he's grown up, of course, he's a full-grown adult now, right? But those small interactions, I think they're to be appreciated, because another major one is coming with Izo and the Scabbards, because Izo has not been to Wano ever since he left with Oden, right? And that takes us to Marco and Nekomamushi in that conversation about the message that Marco was supposed to leave for Luffy. I'm going to have an in-depth video on that specific thing, but I'll say this. I think the note makes sense. However, there are ways you can look at it for it to be a bit wonky. Listen, I'm really happy that Marco is here, because seemingly Marco flew from where he was, that island, to Wano, and the dialogue here about Marco and Oden, with him saying that he loves Oden, but word from Wano doesn't travel out of the country, meaning for him, he didn't know what had happened in the country, which translates to him not knowing that Oden had died. And again, we'll talk about that a lot, well, in depth tomorrow. That'd be tomorrow's video. But man, I think it's a lot to digest there. Again, it makes sense. It's Wano's closed off, but there are numerous ways in which this could have been communicated. But again, like I said, we'll talk about it. Sasaki and Denjiro, not a big deal, guys. That is not a big deal at all. Sasaki did not know Denjiro was a traitor. Oda's using this moment to take Sasaki temporarily out of the story, or just restrain him for a bit, and we have to wait and see what his role is going forward. I think for some people, just how it transitioned was a bit weird. Basically, we didn't see the struggle at all, but again, he got caught off guard. There's not anything to really show there, so that doesn't bother me as much. I mean, to me, the highlight of this moment is just how beautiful Kiyoshiro's neck is, because he asked Sasaki how much did he know about Wano's history, and a lot of people feel like he was showing Sasaki his tattoo. No, he was showing Sasaki that neck, and it is a glorious neck, one of the best in One Piece. It might be top 5. The Big Mom thing, that in itself deserves its own video in which we talk about just Big Mom's portrayal throughout the story and how much she's been disrespected based on like the consensus of the fans. This thing that happened in this chapter is Big Mom's shtick. Personally, this is how I think Oda like designates different characters for different moments, and Big Mom, like, sometimes she is comedy relief. But again, we'll talk about that. I don't think it's that big of a deal yet. It just depends on where this goes. I think the Prometheus moment was funny, where he looked like a very calm son, and then soon as he showed himself, he turned into a raging fireball. People were wondering, like, what if Nami subjugates Prometheus as well? Like, how powerful would Nami be then? I mean, honestly, if Nami manages to do that, she's moving probably up to past Robin behind Jinbei, because that's just crazy. She's going towards the witch route, and that's what led to people speculating that Nami could be Big Mom's daughter, or one of Big Mom's daughters. So it's cool to think about, but there's some downsides to it. Ulti and Page 1, I love their interactions, I love their designs, so anything with Ulti and Page 1, it's cute, it's adorable. It's crazy how different Page 1 is in this form as opposed to his full Zoan form, but man, it's cool to really see them in action. I think that Luffy moment, I mentioned this before, it gave me chills, right? Because it's Luffy, in a way, exuding ultra confidence, where he's actually in enemy territory, and the enemy asked him who he is, and he says, no, who are you? Which is really dope, because for Luffy, it's almost like, you should know who I am. Who the hell are you? Like, I'm Monkey D. Luffy. I'm the one that's perceived. I'm the one who's been proclaimed as the 5th Yonko. Who the hell are you? Really dope moment for me. Some people didn't appreciate it because they feel like Ulti and Page 1 can't really match up to Luffy, but I think moments like this, especially with him still having the black coat, I loved it. I absolutely loved that moment. But yeah, there are things we need to discuss in regards to Marco, Nekomamushi, and there's even something that people are bringing up where the person that mentioned Marco getting involved is not actually Izo. I'm leaning towards the fact that this person may not be Izo. And the reason is, at this point, why would you even hide Izo? We already know that person is Izo. We saw the lips. Why would you hide it? Tell me who you think this person is, guys. I have someone in mind, which I'm going to talk about in the future, but who do you think this person is? And is this possible? Would it be cool if this person actually pulled up? But yeah, guys, give me your thoughts. How did you feel about the chapter? I thought it was a good chapter, a very enjoyable chapter to read, especially with the chat going, etc. It's progressing the story. It's setting a bunch of things up. But yeah, Denjo's neck for the win. But yeah, guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.